Hi, how you doing? Justin here. Welcome to Really Useful Strumming Techniques Part 2. In this DVD we're going to be discussing 16th note rhythms, how to use it, how to use accents, how to use ties, dotted notes, and how to actually construct your own 16th note strumming patterns to create your own grooves. It's quite important that you learn to figure out stuff by yourself because there are so many possibilities once you get into 16th notes. It's really important that you understand how to do it because I couldn't possibly be able to take you through every 16th note strumming pattern that ever existed. But with a little bit of practice and a little bit of effort on your part, you're going to be able to hear, recognize and play pretty much any 16th note strumming pattern that you choose to hear. I want to do a little bit of practical playing and explain why you might choose to use 16th note patterns over 8th notes, even if you're playing the same rhythm. Now for this I'm going to be using a G chord. If you want to play along, whenever I'm doing these sort of performance things through the whole DVD, I'll be counting you a 3, 4, and then on the 1 we'd start together. So I'll always try and give you a little count as well because I think that kind of helps. And it's definitely a good idea to play along with these, particularly as we get into the harder patterns. So if we look at the first pattern, I'm calling this pattern number 21, and this is just a straight 8th note pattern. So playing a down strum on beats 1, 2, 3 and 4 and an upstroke on the ands. So that would sound like this: 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Not particularly difficult, especially for those of you guys that have done Really Useful Strumming Techniques Volume 1. That should be a complete piece of cake. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to go on to pattern number 22 and we're going to play the same rhythm, but this time I'm only going to use down strums. And it's important to notice that this sounds and feels a little different even though the rhythm is the same. So let me play that one for you and then I'm going to combine the two. Here we go. This is pattern number 22. 3, 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Now maybe you might not have noticed because I did that for quite a short period of time, but it's got a little bit more movement. So strumming pattern 24, we're literally going to be accenting the beat, the 1, 2, 3 or the 4 with a slightly louder down strum than we have on the other strums. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you now. I'm going to do it nice and slow. Have a go at playing along with this as well. This is really important. And then spend quite a lot of time practicing this on your own to develop the skill, the technical skill of doing the accents. So here we go. We have 3 E and 4 E. Here we go. 1 E and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. Now, something that you might notice there when you try to strum very softly is that you have to hold your pick quite loose. So one of the other skills that you have to develop for this sort of playing is to be able to hold your pick tight enough to not drop the pick, but soft enough to let the pick move around a little bit in your fingers. What we're going to be talking about now is breaking down the block of 4. And the block of 4, I'm meaning the 4 16th notes that make up one beat. Now there are lots of different ways that we can use the notes that are found in this one beat, and we might not always want to play 1 E and with the down, up, down, up. We might only want to strum once in that beat, in which case we just strum 1 down on the beat. Pretty straightforward, eh? So if we wanted to just have that play on that one beat, we would of course notate it with a crotchet or a quarter note, which is worth 1 beat. Very easy. If we wanted to strum twice and we wanted to play on the 1 and the and, you probably recognize that we'd use 2 8th notes, which are worth half a beat each. Now, once we've got our 8th notes, remember we don't have to always have all 4 of our 16th notes in. We might just want to divide that last 8th note into a 16th note. We cut that in half. Hey, and now we've got one E is missing. We're not using this 16th note, and we end up with one E and A. Okay, now you're familiar with the basic blocks. What we're going to start doing is playing around with the order of those blocks into some common strumming patterns. Now, of course, it's important that you realize at this stage that you can make up your own too. So long as you're using the little blocks that we've looked at so far, I would really urge you, after we've gone through these 4 different permutations I'm going to show you now, that you have an experiment yourself and try putting this block next to that block and that block next to this one, and really try and mix it up as much as you can, because the better you get at understanding the way that patterns can work, the more likely you're going to be able to recognize a pattern when you're listening to a tune that you really like and you're trying to work out what the strumming pattern is. If you're familiar with all of the ways that the blocks move together, you'll just listen to it and go, oh, it sounds like that one and that one. And then you try it, and invariably you'll find it'll be right, especially once you've learned the next couple of little tricks we're going to do about using ties and stuff. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. So for pattern 33, what we're going to be doing is down, down, up, down, up, down, 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 up, down, up, down. 1 E and a 2 E and 3 and a 4 E and. The next thing that we're going to check out is muted strums. Now this can be used as a percussive effect and also be used to accent certain chords that you play during a pattern, or as actually forming a whole pattern unto itself. Now what we're going to start off with, we're just going to use our hand to mute all of the strings on the guitar neck. Make sure you use more than one finger, so when you strum, you just get a dead sound. And the first exercise I want you to try is just playing 16th notes, all with muted strums. It's very simple. So just going like 2, 3 and a 4 E and a. One of the best patterns for this technique is that one, number 27, the little groups of 3 that we've talked about a few times already. There's loads and loads of songs. I'm sure you'll recognize a lot of songs that use this particular pattern. I'm just going to play it for you quickly so you can hear it, and then we'll do it a bit slower together. So it sounds like this. Okay, here we go for our first of our proper serious strumming patterns, and this one is number 37. Now hopefully you've gone and you've written your count up above the notes on your little sheet music there. It's really, really important. It's going to make your job a lot easier of learning these patterns. The way it's going to work with each one of these patterns is I'm going to play it for you first, just so you know what it sounds like. Then I'm going to slow it down. We're going to play it together for a little bit. That's the idea here. So let me just first of all play you this pattern. So this is number 37. I'm staying with my little G chord here. Here we go. Sounds like this. Sometimes you get patterns that are joined together. They're not always just one bar long. And a good example of this is using here pattern number 42 and pattern number 43 link really well together. So if I play now 42 then 43, you'll hear that it kind of forms a bit of a pattern there amongst it. If we do this. Might sound a little bit random at first, but there's quite a lot of pattern there, and you might find if you applied that to some other chord progressions that you might know based around that G chord, you might recognize it as a wonderful wall song. You know, you just don't know, do you?